trafficking operation and a notorious gang.
It's the largest meth bust in Cherokee County history and leads to the seizure of 200 pounds of methamphetamine valued at $500,000. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office says it represents a significant blow to a drug trafficking operation with known ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent MS-13 street gang. The seizure follows a lengthy investigation targeting a criminal network responsible for distributing large amounts of meth throughout the metro Atlanta area. Charges are pending, but the Sheriff's Office is not yet releasing the names of any suspects. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Grab the sunglasses. You're going to need them today. Sunny and warmer, highs around 63. Will the weekend be nice? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast at 12:05. One person is dead, a second person injured in a house fire in Dallas, Georgia.
Paulding County fire crews rush out to Flagler Way where they find heavy flames shooting through a house. They're told there could be people trapped inside.
Made immediate entry. They were able to locate one of the occupants. He was removed from the house, transported to Cobb Hospital with smoke inhalation.
Fire Captain Steve Mapes says a man who is confined to a wheelchair is also brought out. Unfortunately, he does not survive. The state fire marshal is working with Paulding fire investigators to determine a cause. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
For the second time in recent weeks, Chattahoochee Hills police investigating a deadly crash on South Fulton Parkway near Rico Road. The latest incident involving a Toyota Camry crossing the center lane and colliding almost head-on with a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, which caught fire.
We began suppression and checked the other vehicle, a small sedan. Simultaneously found a person that appeared to be deceased already.
That is Fire Chief Greg Brett. He says the driver of the truck was transported with non-life-threatening injuries. An eerily similar crash in late September in almost that same spot also involved one fatality after a car crossed over the center lane. Breaking news on the Epstein files. Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote in a 2011 email that President Trump had, quote, spent hours at his house with a victim of sex trafficking and said in a separate message years later that Trump knew all about the girls. The emails were released by House Democrats today. White House correspondent Nancy Cortez reporting on the timing of this.
The whole reason that these emails are being released today, it's no accident. It's because Adelita Grijalva, who was elected weeks ago in a special election in Arizona, is finally being sworn in later today, and she will be that crucial 218th signature to force a vote that would then force the Justice Department to release the Epstein files.
And the White House now accusing Democrats of selectively leaking those emails to, quote, create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The government shutdown could be over soon. A package passed by the Senate to reopen the government is expected to be voted on in the House this evening. House Speaker Mike Johnson today on Capitol Hill.
We believe the long national nightmare will be over tonight. It was completely and utterly foolish and pointless in the end, as we said all along.
The government has been shut down now for 43 days. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, Raphael Bostic, is retiring at the end of his current term in February, opening up a new seat on the Fed's interest rate setting committee. Bostic serves on the committee that decides key short-term interest rates. President Trump has repeatedly attacked the Fed this year for not cutting interest rates as quickly as he would prefer. A new multi-million-dollar business investment set to bring some 300 new jobs to North Gwinnett County.
Socomec, an international electrical equipment manufacturer, announces it'll invest $10 million in a new facility in Swanee. Gwinnett County Commission Chairwoman Nicole Love Hendrickson says in a statement that Socomec's investment reinforces the county's dedication to building a balanced, resilient economy. It comes in addition to its existing facility in the area. The company is expected to begin hiring for the hundreds of new jobs early next year. Socomec employs 4,800 people worldwide. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Georgia Gwinnett College announcing today its first graduate program, a Master of Arts in Teaching and Secondary Education. Dr. Shavandra Mills, Senior Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs at Georgia Gwinnett College, says this comes at a critical time when we have a teacher shortage.
Our introduction of this program is a direct response to that shortage. We want to make sure that we have master's level certified teachers available within our region.
And the plan is to launch that program in the spring of 2027. Speaking of colleges and universities, they have seen a third consecutive year of enrollment growth this fall. Undergraduate enrollment was up nearly 2.5%, according to data from the National Student Clearinghouse. Community colleges and certificate programs added the most students this fall. Enrollment in college and university graduate programs was flat. during fall semester. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ is down more than 0.5%. And the S&P is also in negative territory, but only slightly. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
Still watching the slow ride on the west side perimeter, Sabrina, 285 southbound. The outer loop brake lights find you at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, all trying to get down to this construction, pothole repair, and 2 right lanes at Highway 166, Langford Parkway, right lane construction heading toward Douglasville, 20 westbound past Lee Road, exit 41, and all lanes blocked and reopened in Marietta, 75 southbound before Windy Hill Road to get a stall off to the right. All lanes are now back open. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast is sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
Sunny skies and warming up today to a high of 63. That's on par for the average high for this afternoon. Sunset around 5:30. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s at that time, continuing to cool to the mid-40s for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, high 67. Even warmer by Friday with afternoon highs in the low 70s. Gorgeous weather for this weekend. Mostly sunny with morning lows in the 40s, daytime highs in the mid-70s.
60 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, America. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. We got to start with, I can't remember the last time the president stepped in it with his own base. His Laura Ingraham interview. Now, people are furious today, and it is MAGA Republicans who are furious. In fact, Marjorie Taylor Greene is coming out. I think she thinks she is some sort of heir to Trump. I guess it's kind of weird to watch Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, she's I don't know. Let me read you Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet. I believe in the American people. I am one of you. I believe you are good, talented, creative, intelligent, hardworking, and want to achieve. I'm solidly against you being replaced by foreign labor like with H-1Bs. I'm solidly against allowing foreign students into our colleges and universities, like 600,000 Chinese students, just to financially prop them up. If they fail, they fail. The system in place isn't helping our young people anyway. I'm against foreign aid, foreign wars, sending a single dollar to foreign countries. I'm against bringing any foreign leader that is a terrorist or overseas killing innocent people into our country and into the Oval Office. They don't deserve our support. I am elected to represent my district and the American people, no other country, and I only serve Americans. I'm America first and America only. This is my way, and there is no other way to be. That is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is trying to divide the president from his base, and she's capitalizing on a mistake President Trump made with his interview with Laura Ingraham. This is from the president's interview with Laura Ingraham. It has gone viral, and his supporters are furious.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands
of foreign workers. You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, let me
when you and I were
I'll give you an
up.
example.
Mr. President, in World War II, American men went off to kill the Nazis, and their wives went to factories having never held a socket wrench in their life and learned how to make the missiles and the ships that their husbands used at war. It doesn't sound very pro-America for the president to say we've got to import people because we don't have talented people. Now, public schools have certainly destroyed a lot of talent in this country, but there are a lot of people sitting on the sidelines. I want to go back to this guy I was talking to you about a couple of weeks ago, who is still, by the way, jobless. Thought I had found him a job. It didn't work out. He is in his 40s. He's a software engineer. He is very proficient in dealing with systems analysis for various high-tech programs, and he has a special needs daughter, and he has been unemployed for 2 years. It's gotten so bad, he had a massive golf collection. He's selling off his prized golf clubs because he can't find a job. He's over 40, and if you're over 40 in this country and you lose your job, you've got a 25% chance of never getting a job again, and he's in that demographic, it seems, at least in the area of expertise he's in, which is a data field. And he's very talented. But you know what's happening is a lot of companies do take advantage of the H-1B visa program. And by the way, I support the H-1B visa program, but I think it's being abused. I do think, particularly in technology, a lot of people in technology are using H-1B to buy and hire cheaper labor abroad than to deal with American labor. And yes, our costs would go up if they hired more Americans, but oftentimes they're hiring people from abroad. They bring them here, they up their pay, and they're just displacing Americans. I think H-1B comes in very handy in healthcare. There are hospitals around this country that are staffed with foreigners because there aren't enough Americans who are going into nursing, passing nursing. There aren't enough doctors in rural areas of the country. The American doctors want to work in the cities of the suburbs. They don't want to work in Unadilla, Georgia. But you go down to South Georgia to rural hospitals, you've got a lot of Indians. My dad was in the hospital in rural Louisiana 2 weeks ago. His doctor was an Indian. So it was fantastic doctor. But he was an Indian because the American doctors, they don't want to work in rural Louisiana. The Indian doctor is glad to, and he's a great doctor, by the way. There is a way to use H-1B visas. We do have a declining population in this country. We have an aging population. We don't have as many young people as we once did. People aren't having as many kids. We do have to have immigration. One of the problems is assimilation. The left doesn't want to assimilate them. So there is a multifaceted issue here. But for the president to say we don't have talented people, there are a lot of talented people sitting on the sidelines who can't find jobs because major corporations are outsourcing to AI and to foreigners instead of hiring Americans. Again, this is the president with Laura Ingraham.
Did I fly here on a private?
That's Sean Duffy. This is the president with Laura Ingraham.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it?
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
When we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example.
Good for Laura for pushing back. The interview was way more contentious than people expected it to be, way more contentious. And the president didn't handle himself well. And by the way, Kristi Noem has now come out in defense of the H-1B visa program. Who is talking to the White House? Which corporate executives are talking to the White House? And by the way, there is room for H-1B visas. If you're really honest about it, there's room for H-1B visa workers in this country in certain fields. And healthcare is a great example. Again, we have an aging population. We have fewer young people than we did. Our birth rate is stagnant. We're going to need nurses and doctors in rural parts of the country where oftentimes Americans don't want to work. Having foreign doctors in those areas is something we already do. However, there are also times and places where the H-1B visa program is abused. I have a friend who is a technology venture capitalist. He's actually overseas right now in Dubai for work. And he is furious at the H-1B visa program. He sees how it's abused by technology companies. Technology companies are the biggest defenders of the H-1B visa situation. And it's just crazy to me that we are in a situation where you now have the President of the United States saying Americans aren't talented enough. There are areas where we need H-1Bs, and if this president and this administration can't nuance it, he is going to tear his movement apart. That's just the reality of it. I mean, the God's honest truth is we do need immigrants. They do need to assimilate, but there are some fields where H-1Bs are being abused. And now, on top of that, you layer on top of that AI, your AI situation, because you've got younger people, particularly starting jobs, they're going to be replaced by AI. To get into a field, you're going to have a more advanced degree. You're going to have to go into debt more to get a master's degree because the AI is going to take the bottom rungs where kids used to start out in accountancy firms and law firms and the like. AI is going to take those jobs, finance firms, accounting firms, even tech firms, computer programming jobs. AI is going to take the first rung of jobs, and so you're going to have to get in ahead of the first rung, which means you're going to have more advanced skill sets. You know, what's also interesting is the president's administration, when Vivek Ramaswamy was with Doge and was suggesting that we actually do need to defend the H-1B visa program and Americans are not talented enough, the administration kicked him to the curb, and he went to Ohio to run for governor. Remember, he was pushed out for saying what the president just said. He's now the president's endorsed candidate for governor in Ohio. And I understand what he means, but they're talking about it the wrong way. They're really talking about it the wrong way. What the president should say, Mr. President, Susie Wiles, Kristi Noem, members of the administration, if you'll just listen to me for a moment, I do want you to succeed on this because I sure as hell don't want the Democrats winning in the midterms. Stop saying Americans aren't talented and that we don't have enough talent. Instead, say this. The H-1B visa program is being abused by some sectors of the economy while it is needed in other sectors of the economy. And we should not be displacing Americans in sectors of the economy with foreign workers, depriving Americans of starting out jobs where they acquire talent. What we should be doing is working to seek out and stop the abuse where American workers are being replaced by foreigners, oftentimes remotely and then here, who are actually going to be paid less wages to do the same job as a cost-saving measure for companies. That's not the purpose of the H-1B visa program. We all know that is happening, and you will be committed to stamp out that abuse while recognizing the balance of, in some sectors of the economy, like rural health care, the H-1B visa is necessary, proper, and good, and I think most Americans will understand that. This saying we don't have enough talent, we're not talented, we can't go from the unemployment line to the manufacturing job, Mr. President, many of our grandparents, many of our grandmothers went from nursing babies to building bombs while their husbands were fighting World War II. It was extremely possible for them to go from unemployment to making bombs and tanks because they literally had to because our lives and our nation depended on it, and they did. And we should look at that. Pete Hegseth, by the way, is essentially realigning procurement at the Department of Defense based on that premise that we can get Americans into jobs and teach them how to build weapons quickly and at scale, just like we did at war if we were on a war footing. We should look at that nationwide. There are defenses of the H-1B visa program, but there are abuses of the H-1B visa program, and saying that we don't have talent in America doesn't sound very America first. The splits are coming within MAGA because the president is a lame duck, and as he says stuff like this, he exacerbates the splits, and his movement is going to splinter. If he wants to hold it together, he needs to rethink his word choice on these matters, because this is the very first time I have seen so many people who have long been supporters of the president furious with the president for his choice of words with Laura Ingraham.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching the emergency pothole repair. West Side Outer Loop heading to the airport. 285 southbound, Highway 166 exit 5. They're in 2 right lanes there. You also have right lane construction heading out toward Douglasville. Oh, I think it might be wrapping up. 20 westbound past Lee Road, exit 41. And a right lane block 20 eastbound approaching the downtown connector. That's right lane construction there near McDaniel Street. Traffic is brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and the World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under one special deal. Get your combo tickets at AtlantaIcons.com. I'm Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
The way you should live your life is look at the way they're doing it at D.C. and then just run.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
Other people are getting away with it, so you should get away with it.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Well, your best day ever would have been a Tuesday. Who knows?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today we're talking with window and door experts Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows. Ted, can you explain how the Infinity fiberglass windows can give us more daylight and bigger views in our home?
Because our Infinity Ultrex fiberglass is so strong, the frames of our windows are thinner, which gives you more daylight and bigger views. Our windows are not big and bulky like other replacement windows.
What if someone wants a window where there isn't one already?
Fortunately, we're licensed general contractors, and we can help with that. Our windows come in both a new construction and replacement option, so we're always guaranteed to have the perfect fit for your home.
How do the Infinity fiberglass windows measure up when it comes to energy efficiency?
Infinity windows have super energy efficient glass that will lower your energy bills and protect your floors, window treatments, and home furnishings from fading out from the damaging sun's UV rays.
Jonathan, anything else you'd like to add?
Just remember, if you're replacing your old windows that are leaking and rotting, choose Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows, or you're giving up both daylight and views. And not only are our fiberglass windows more durable, they are truly beautiful windows.
Jonathan and Ted, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, and expertise. And right now at North Georgia Replacement Windows, we are proud to offer savings to be thankful for. You'll receive 17% off your entire project, plus up to 18 months, no interest, no payments. Hurry, these offers end November 30th, 2025. Visit our beautiful showroom in Alpharetta to see all the possibilities for your home, and visit us online for all the details on these special savings and financing offers. ngwindows.com. Visit us today at ngwindows.com. ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
I want you to know that you are loved. You are loved personally and completely, more fully and deeply than you can understand or imagine. When your pain tries to tell you that you're not loved, let his pain remind you that you are. Jesus went through what he went through for you because he loves you. You are loved. This is Tom Gray, thanking Hardy Family Ford for their support.
We love you and we need you.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
On the go, take Eric's podcast with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Let's go to Jose from Maryland. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
What's going on?
I agree with you 100%. Yes. So I'm in this business. I'm a cloud developer. I do AI work. And I'm telling you that there's just not enough Gen Zers entering in this field. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe they're not hungry enough. But it's a great career, but it's really, really tough to get in. In terms of intellect. So we have to get these engineers from around the world. And like on my team, I'm the only native born on the team, and I'm Puerto Rican. Most of the people that I work with are from India. Most of the people that I work with are men. There's just not enough talent at this high caliber. Yeah, of course, accounting, even being a lawyer, you can find them in the U.S. But some of this high tech stuff is there's just not a lot of people doing it. I mean, when I interview people every single day, and I could rarely find people that are talented enough to do what we're trying to do.
That's an interesting point. So how would you fix the problem? Because I definitely think, like, as I said, I think there's abuse of the system, but there's also a need for the system. What would you suggest the government do to try to encourage American kids to do what you're doing?
Well, first of all, don't tell them that AI is going to put them out of work. Because we're finding, a lot of people, including my son, that they don't want to get into the computer science business because they think that AI is going to put them out of work. That is the worst attitude. I always tell my kids and people I mentor is you're not going to get replaced by AI. You're going to get replaced by someone using AI. And I'm a guy that I literally use AI like 5 to 8 hours a day to help me write code.
Wow. Well, that's encouraging to hear. And in fact, I will say this, Jose, a buddy of mine told me, and this is the venture capitalist friend of mine, that they're actually hiring more people because of AI. It's made them so much more efficient. They can get more work done.
Yeah, I hear that too. But we just can't find, we just can't find enough talent.
That's okay.
And we have, we have spaces open and we just can't find the people.
This is well said. I appreciate you calling in from Maryland. And again, this is, you can't just say we got to get rid of the H-1B visa program, and a lot of people want to say that because there are situations where we do need people, but I wouldn't say that people are talentless. And by the way, there's a difference between computer programming and manufacturing, Mr. President, so be careful in how you say it. Look, there are problems in the economy still. In fact, the debt burden on Americans is going up. People are defaulting more. The government is trying to steer you towards credit instead of cash. Swiss America wants to teach you about the secret war on cash and how the government's trying to steer your spending purchases. They want to give you their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. You can call or text 800-289-2646 and get their report completely free. The All-Out War on Cash includes digital forms of currency and is spreading. So get the Secret War on Cash report completely free. All you do is mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646. Or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. SwissAmerica.com/Eric. Or just call them or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. The report from Swiss America is completely free. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Fire investigators this afternoon looking into what caused a deadly blaze in Paulding County. Fire crews were called to a home on Flagler Way just before 9:30 last night. They were told somebody was possibly trapped inside. When they arrived on scene, they went inside, found two people, pulled them out. One person pronounced dead at the scene. The other taken to the hospital with smoke inhalation. No names have been released. Going to be beautiful today. Sunny with an afternoon high of 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. It is being called historic. A methamphetamine seizure in Cherokee County, 200 pounds of meth valued at $500,000 confiscated. The drug bust took place at an undisclosed storage facility in Cherokee County. Drug agents saying this operation has ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent street gang MS-13. You know all those text scams you get about those tolls not being paid? We now know who's behind them. Jim Ryan has details.
The scammers, based in China, have been dubbed the smishing triad for the SMS text messages they send out by the millions. Posing as EasyPass, the U.S. Postal Service, or Google, cybercriminals will try to convince their victims to send money to settle non-existent charges. Now, Google has filed suit against the smishing triad, saying it's damaging its good name.
All right, looking ahead to this evening, should you go for a run before it gets dark or go lift some weights? Well, a new study shows weight training may be more beneficial to when it comes to weight loss and preventing type 2 diabetes than running. Scientists at Virginia Tech conducted an experiment on mice and found that running and weightlifting both improved blood sugar control, but weight training was even more effective at reducing body fat than running. The lead researcher saying that folks should try for both endurance and resistance exercise to get the most health benefits. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 369 at 48,297. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ is down more than 0.5%. And the S&P is also in negative territory. It's 12:32.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a three-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Your home. It's where you live, sleep, eat, and breathe. Shouldn't it be healthy and safe for your family? To be truly healthy, your home needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in your house? Hey, it's Mark Aram. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home inside and out because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Do not settle for the 5-minute outside only, hey, spray and pray approach to pest control. That is not protection. That's not a healthy home. Some other companies have given up on the inside of your home, but not Breda. They know a healthy home requires protection inside and out. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone. So let the local folks from Breda in, and they'll keep those pests out. Breda, they handle bugs and critters for a truly healthy home. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Still watching the slowdown on the west side perimeter, 285 southbound, the outer loop approaching Highway 166, Langford Parkway, construction, pothole repair in 2 right lanes, and downtown, a few brake lights, 7585 South 17th Street down to North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and mild today, high 63. Not as chilly for tonight, lows in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 67. We're back in the 70s by Friday afternoon.
60 degrees in Tucker. Alpharetta has 58. It's 59 in Loganville. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. So in the last small segment, I had on Jose, who was calling from Maryland, who defended the H-1B program and said he's struggling to find Americans who are capable of doing the job he's looking for. Someone pointed out on Twitter, and I don't have the answer to this, having not thought of it, but you know, a lot of companies are using AI to vet resumes now, and I actually do think we should probably have a law that prohibits AI from doing this. Look at, Workday, I think is the company that's being sued, that if you get rejected at one company, you're going to get rejected at pretty much all of them. There's a massive class action lawsuit about it, and AI is vetting resumes and turning people away. I'm in favor of requiring human beings to vet people for work instead of having computers do it, because there's something more personable about having a person involved than AI, among other things. Now, I want to go to the phones here, get the opposite. We had Jose, who is pro H-1B. Let's go to Orlando, Florida, and get Donna. Welcome to the show. Donna, how are you?
I'm great, Eric. I'm so passionate about this issue. Thank you for letting me speak.
Sure.
Okay, so my husband and son are both in software engineering in Orlando. My son graduated from the local UCF, second largest university in the country. I've been to plenty of graduations there. There are tons. There are a lot of engineers coming out. There are software guys, hardware guys, you name it. They are there. But my husband is facing something. So they had an opening, and he was allowed to use a headhunter. They found an American guy, absolutely great, talented young man, hired him. Now they have another opening for a tech position. Companies going cheap, won't let them use a headhunter. Look in LinkedIn. My husband's having to look at tons of resumes. They're all Indian. Okay, because the company's going cheap, and they want to go cheap labor, cheap, not go with the headhunter. So he's finding it, and when their experience with hiring the Indians, not as good. They're all talk when it comes to the paperwork, but it doesn't add up when you get them in the office. Have another issue. A number of years ago, Walt Disney World here had their programmers. They laid them all off. They laid off all the American workers, brought in Indian workers, made the programmers teach the jobs, train their replacements, or they wouldn't get their severance package. We know guys that this happened to, you know, because my husband's in the field. It is so insulting to have to train your replacement in order to get your severance. And those were qualified people. They had the jobs. They were doing a good job. They were not let go of for merit. They were let go for saving money.
Right.
You know, there's a big portion. I honestly think it's these companies that are getting, and I love Donald Trump. I love him as a president. But I got to say, people are getting in his ear, in my opinion. I think he's the greatest president, but I got to say, sometimes you get people talking to you, and it isn't as it seems, because you're being influenced, you know, by the wrong people. And when it comes to AI, just as the first caller said, my husband and son both use AI in their jobs. They come to a point in programming something or fixing something, and they'll put it out. AI helps them to come up with a few lines of code that'll fix the situation. So AI isn't really replacing them, as he said. AI is assisting them,
making them more efficient
in their jobs. You know what I mean? Because it can go through the iterations quicker and sometimes find solutions to things, but it's not starting from scratch and building the code. So I know I went through a lot of things here, but I got to say, the H-1B in the field of computer software.
Mm-hmm.
It is being abused, and it has been going on for so many years now, and we're sick of it.
Well,
you tell kids too to go into STEM, right?
Right.
STEM. You hear this in school. You got to get a job in STEM. You got to study STEM in school: science, tech, engineering, math. You go and you have the kids do that, and you put them through these programs, and then for what? So they won't get hired because they get hired by H-1B replacements? Why did you push these programs then? Why did you promise the parents?
Right. And, so that you raise a huge question here in that I see the need for H-1B visas, including in technology. But I also see how it's being abused. And you raised Disney is a great example where people were being laid off and it was a cost-saving measure. And it seems like we should be able to find a way to pass a law that says you can't use H-1B visas for that. I've got a friend of mine who oversaw a visa application for someone who was a hairdresser and claimed that the H-1B visa was necessary because she was a Korean woman who would be styling Korean women's hair, and there was a shortage of know-how on how to style Korean women's hair in this part of the country, and so she was needed, and she came in, and she wasn't styling Korean women's hair, but she was able to get an H-1B visa to come into the country just to be with the rest of her family. There's clearly abuse happening in the system. We should not deny the abuse. Surely there's a balance here, because there are kids in this country who lack the talent to do things. Listen, the number of people, I forget where it was the other day, there was a study out that, I forget what university it was, has the highest rate of freshmen having to take remedial classes ever in math and science, the highest in English language classes, the highest rate of remedial classes. Our public schools are failing kids. They are. We don't want to fall behind technologically. There's got to be a balance here. And all I'm trying to say to all of you is that there's got to be a more nuanced conversation. It's not all of one or the other, that there clearly is abuse. There clearly is a need for reform, but there also is a clear need in some sectors of the economy for H-1B visas. There are a lot of rural hospitals in this country that would close up shop if you shut down the H-1B visa program because the good white and black American doctors don't want to work in the rural parts of the country. So we got to find a balance. Doug, you're going to be up next. Welcome. You guys are fired up on this issue. I'm happy to take the calls. Welcome. How are you?
Eric?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, first-time caller. I want to call you all the time, but I'm driving most of the time. I'm in the corporate and private aircraft business, and there are discussions all the time going on. I don't want to go into the hairdresser thing.
Right.
But when we were talking today about the thing with Trump last night, well, here's my thing with it. I deal in very technical things with aviation, and you just can't get a young kid off the street and throw him in there. So my thing with the conversation last night is World War II. Okay, the equipment, the hydraulics, and everything, you could throw somebody in there and put them in there and do a job. Today, we don't have that advantage. It's like there's very technical things going on, and you have to be trained for it. I'm not saying that we don't have young people today that can do it here in the United States, but a lot of the technology and software and everything that's going on with it, it's coming from a foreign land.
Mm-hmm.
So it throws me off a little bit. And I'm not a huge Trump fan. I mean, I like Trump. He's very verbose. But to some degree, I kind of get what he was saying last night was that you just can't throw people into a job and expect them to be able to do it. Not 1943 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to badger him or degrade him or anything else, but I think he was trying to say something, and it got convoluted, and it is what it is today. We're talking about it today, and I listened to you today, and what I'm saying too. First time caller. I'm listening to it, and I'm driving down the road, to PDK Airport, and I'm clicking Eric Erickson's show. And I had to pull over and write the number down and call you.
Okay, so listen, hang on a second, Doug. I want to see if I can do something while you're on the phone with me that gets to your point. So Scott Bessent was just on TV. I just got the video, and I think he's doing some damage control. I don't think he is. I know he's doing some damage control to the president's point. Let's listen to Scott Bessent together. This from Fox News.
There's 20, 30 years we have offshored precision manufacturing jobs. And the president's point here is we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight. We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona. So I think the president's vision here is to bring in overseas workers where these jobs went.
Who have skills.
Who have the skills, 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. workers. Then they can go home. The U.S. workers fully take over.
So do you understand the concern that people have? Hey, an American could have that job. Why you give it to a guy from
But an American can't have that job.
So it's specific skills.
Because we haven't built ships in the U.S. for years. We haven't built semiconductors. So this idea of overseas partners coming in, teaching American workers, then returning home, that's a home run.
Gotcha. Mr. Secretary, thanks.
Okay, so that was Scott. I think, Doug, that probably gets to your point and the president's point.
It does, and what bothers me with it, we've got a lot of talent in this country, and I'm a very old guy and a pilot, and I was talking to your call screener earlier, and I was talking about stuff with Airbus. Okay, so a few years back, we had an Airbus, I think it was Air Korea or something, that crashed with like 320 people on it.
Yeah.
So the marker on it was when it got out of control, they should have throttled back to 80%, changed their attitude, and went 5 degrees nose up. And they would have they would have all survived. But the problem was they had young guys flying that had nothing but simulator time. And I think today we're depending on people to do things that they don't have the ability to do. You know, I agree with the Europeans back in the day in Germany when you had to serve an apprenticeship to have a job somewhere. So you could have been an engineer or whatever you were, but you had to go in and learn every job that was in there available. And what does that make you? It makes you a great engineer.
Yeah. Well, and you know,
we don't have that today.
I got to let you go there. I appreciate it. And yeah, look, and again, this gets to the balance issue of the H-1B visa program. There is a real balance in the program. There is the balance of, as Scott Bessent says, we do have areas of this country where we're trying to rebuild talent, and we don't have a lot of talent. And there are balances as well that there's abuse in the program. And the president just doesn't seem to be able to nuance these things in conversation, and he hurt himself with his base. It's to Scott Bessent's credit that he has become such a cleanup guy that the left is now attacking Scott Bessent on a regular basis. I think that Bessent's spin this morning, if you want to call it spin or just his clarification on the president, is probably the right balance, that there are areas in this country where we lack the skill set now, where we need people to come in and do the job to teach Americans. The key here is make them temporary. What happens when they're here for 7 years and they decide, I kind of like America, I don't want to go back home? We got to have a balance there. And I don't know that the president does nuance, but he needs to figure out, because he hurt himself with his base this morning. He hurt himself with his base last night by saying Americans are essentially talentless. And there are areas where we lack the talent and expertise, but there are also areas where the program is being abused. And we've got to be able to clean up the abuse in the program in order to make sure that we get talented Americans working. And, and again, I would go back to what Jose said earlier as well, that AI, there's some data, it's taking some jobs, but also there's a lot of data that it is opening up new jobs for people because it's making companies more efficient. So there's a balance there as well. We just don't do nuance as a country where it's either all of this or it's all of that. It's nothing in between, and yet that's where so much of life is.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Still watching the emergency road repairs, pothole repair. DOT saying 285 southbound, the outer loop, Highway 166, Langford Parkway, 2 right lanes are blocked. You're slow from from Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. 85 southbound, little sluggish into Midtown and downtown from the I-85 400 merge. And car fire cleanup on the left lane as 75 North Grant to Forest Parkway. Traffic brought to you by John Boyd & Associates, personal injury law firm. You were hurt at work and the insurance company is denying your claim? Get real. Call John Foy & Associates and let their workers' comp team get you the maximum benefits you deserve. Call John Foy now. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
A handful of Democratic senators compromise with Republicans. A measure passes to open the government.
This bill would fund the government through January 30th and reverse layoffs of federal workers.
Now it's up to the House and the president.
They've got to scramble all of those members back.
What comes next?
We are expecting a vote in the House as early as Wednesday.
What does it mean to you?
The deal does not include an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits.
Listen often throughout the day for the very latest. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Water bugs, palmetto bugs, creepy, crunchy crawlies, whatever you call them, they're roaches and you want them gone. Meteorologist Christina Epworth here for Breda Pest Management. Many pest companies have stopped treating the inside of homes to save money, but it's the roaches inside you want gone. Breda's got your back. They'll protect the outside and inside of your home. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters like roaches.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Want to love your deck so much that you don't even want to go on vacation? Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and your new deck will be your family's favorite staycation. We do decks differently. Beautiful high-end decks at a reasonable price, materials you choose, and lots of options. With Nelson Exteriors, you'll get a high-quality, affordable, custom deck, handcrafted by our licensed and insured experts. For an extraordinary deck renovation, Google Nelson Exteriors.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You know, there's something else here with the president, and I got to play you this conversation, a little bit more of a conversation with Laura Ingraham.
We are doing phenomenally well. This is the greatest economy we've ever had. Their talking points, oh, costs are high, costs are high. By the way, the only thing is beef. Beef. Coffee. Is a little high because the ranchers are doing great. Coffee, we're going to lower some tariffs. We're going to have some coffee come in. We're going to take care of all this stuff very quickly, very easily. It's surgical. It's beautiful to watch. But our costs are way lower. Now, Walmart came out with a statement that they do every year for many, many decades. And they said that a Thanksgiving meal costs 25% less this Thanksgiving, coming up, think of that, than it did last Thanksgiving under Sleepy Joe Biden. That's a 25% reduction. I think that's right. And if you remember, when I first came in, the first 2 days I had a news conference, eggs, they were hitting me with eggs. Eggs had quadrupled in price. And they're screaming at me, say, I just got here. I didn't know about eggs. And Brooke Rollins, our agricultural commissioner, secretary, did a great job.
Brooke Rollins did a great job on eggs, and egg prices have fallen dramatically. The president said he's going to get rid of some tariffs on coffee to reduce the price of coffee, which would be good, but that's an acknowledgement there that the tariffs drove up the price of coffee. Remember, the president has said tariffs weren't driving up prices, and here in this interview, he just said tariffs are driving up the price of coffee, but he focused on Walmart, saying that it cost 25% less this year for its Thanksgiving basket. It does a collection of goods that it says are its Thanksgiving basket, and it's 25% cheaper this year than last year. What the president probably didn't know and should have been told is that Walmart deleted 6 items. Had it left those 6 items in, it would actually be more expensive this year than last year. Friends, again, Republicans, you got to fix the economy. The cost of living is the number one issue for Americans right now. And you promised you would fix it. Elect you, and you will fix it, and the cost of living is higher. And to do the hanky-panky with Walmart and say that prices are coming down, this is like the Democrats attacking corporations for shrinking candy bars, placing blame elsewhere. No, this is government policy that is causing the price hikes. The president all but admitted it, that his tariffs are responsible for the price increase of coffee. You've got to fix the cost of living, and tariffs are a singular, particular issue causing the cost of living to go up. So deal with that. Now, let me tell you about Vision Computer. They are my computer company, and they could be your computer company, and they are a great company to use. If you're buying a new computer, they can build one for you that is your computer. It's not the one-size-fits-all that you get at the big box store. It's your computer, and you get their free world-class tech support with it. They can also upgrade your computer. In fact, once you've gotten a computer from Vision, they make them upgradable so you can stick with Vision and just upgrade parts as years go on and computer technology changes. But you can also get their world-class tech support, and their tech support helps keep you from scams. It helps keep you online. It helps keep your employees productive. If you've got managed IT for your company, you get to talk to actual human beings with Vision. Call them at 404-COMPUTE today. Sign up with Vision Computers, 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Say Eric sent you. You might save some more money. You'll talk to actual human beings and have actual human being managed IT. 404-COMPUTE.
More local news.
Newton County authorities crediting the Georgia State Patrol ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile,
more traffic.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
More weather.
The tornado threat has appeared to come to an end for Henry County.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
This is a complicated, controversial subject.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. A massive meth bust in Cherokee County takes dangerous drugs off the streets of metro Atlanta.
The seizure of 200 pounds of methamphetamine valued at $500,000 is the largest meth bust in Cherokee County history. It follows a lengthy collaborative investigation between local, state, and federal partners targeting a criminal network responsible for distributing large quantities of meth throughout the metro Atlanta area. The sheriff's office says it's a significant blow to a drug trafficking operation with known ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent MS-13 street gang. Charges in the case are pending. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Sunny and 63 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. For the second time in recent weeks, there's been a fatal crash in Chattahoochee Hills in almost the same exact spot on South Fulton Parkway near Rico Road. The latest accident involving a Toyota Camry crossing the center lane and then colliding almost head-on with a Tacoma pickup truck. The driver of that truck was transported with non-life-threatening injuries. The other driver died at the scene. Fire Chief Greg Brett says this is a no-passing zone, so it's hard to say what yet led to this accident. If it's a line of sight problem or a speed issue.
There's a no passing zone for either lane of travel. There perhaps are other circumstances, but at this point, it's hard to really say that line of sight definitely has a cause for it.
Now, a similar crash in late September in almost that same spot involved one fatality after a car crossed over the center lane. Amazon stepping up its efforts to combat illegal streaming.
Amazon's aim is to block apps loaded onto all of its Fire TV Stick devices that are identified as providing pirated content. The company introduced a new Fire TV Stick last month that has enhanced security measures with apps only available in Amazon's App Store to be used for customers to download.
Now, correspondent Jim Krasula reports the Amazon Fire Stick is plugged into a TV for internet streaming. President Trump will soon get another chance to influence the nation's central bank.
Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic, in that position since 2017, says he plans to retire at the end of his current term this February. Bostic, 59, is the first black and the first openly gay person to lead a regional Fed bank. Now, this is going to shake up the central bank, which has been under unprecedented pressure from President Trump to lower interest rates, and with the administration already looking to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell when his term expires in May. I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby for 95.5 WSB.
All right, let's check the market, see how your investments are working for you. The Dow in positive territory, up 404 at 48,333, so it's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ is down slightly, and the S&P is in positive territory. It's 102.
I one time sent my father a big box of Omaha steaks. And my mother said, son, we're older and we don't grill out as much, and maybe you should get your father something else. And I mentioned it to my dad and said I was sorry. He says, what are you talking about? I want Omaha steaks. He loves the fillets. He loves the gourmet jumbo franks. He loves the New York strips. You will too. It's a great gift for your family, for your friends. And right now, it's the Sizzle All the Way sale. You get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com, and you get an extra $35 off because you listen to me. Use my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. Minimum order required. You can get great gifts for your friends, for your family, for yourself. I mean, I'll be honest, I take advantage of my own promo code. You can too, and you can get it as a gift for somebody you love, you like, you're building a relationship with. Get it for your family and friends. omahasteaks.com. Sizzle All the Way sale happening now, 50% off site-wide. Use Eric for your promo code, $35 off at checkout.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Ever been looking for your favorite sweater only to find it in the bottom of the pile in your master closet, sitting on a wire rack, and when you put it on, you look like a waffle?
Wouldn't be that way if you had Artisan Custom Closets upgrade your closets. Your clothes would remain beautiful all year. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. artisancustomclosets.com.
This is Andy Harris, president at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Still watching that emergency pothole repair on the west side perimeter, Sabrina. 2 right lanes are blocked, 285 southbound, the outer loop, Highway 166, Langford Parkway, exit 5. Just had a crash clear heading into Midtown, 85 southbound between Georgia 400 and 17th Street. And you have right lane construction out in DeKalb, 20 eastbound before Panola Road, exit 71, slowing that ride from Wesley Chapel Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny skies and trending warmer today. High 63, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, warming still, high 67. We're back in the 70s by Friday afternoon.
WSB Storm Tracker radar is clear. It is 59 degrees in Canton. Snellville has sunny skies and 61. And it is sunny right now in Conyers and 62 degrees. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson across the fruited plain from cold Anchorage, Alaska to warm Palm Beach, Florida, and all points in between. If you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you get the live stream, the show notes, everything you need. Also, at the end of this week, I will send out my annual mini holiday cookbook with all the recipes that I use, my gravy, my pie, how I do my turkey, all of that stuff. If you're a subscriber, free or paid, just text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Click that first link. Get on the subscription list, and later this week, I will be sending out my recipes. So you know how to do the gravy. I've got the best Thanksgiving gravy recipe. I literally get emails from around the world from people who have made my gravy for Thanksgiving, and it's coming to you. Speaking of, very importantly, if you go to ericthanksgiving.com, not Eric's, but Eric, E-R-I-C-K, Thanksgiving.com, or just text the word donate to 33777. We continue to raise money for people around the nation who need Thanksgiving meals. And I want to get into the news of the Epstein stuff, but I got to tell you this again. It struck a nerve with a listener last night. When my wife and I first had a child, we required formula because my wife had to have a double mastectomy right after we got married, so breastfeeding wasn't an option. And there were months where, one month in particular, we had a power bill because we were renting a house that was uninsulated. It was before we bought a house, and we had a power bill that was like $600 because of a particularly cold winter, and we had to cut costs significantly. We struggled with our first child. The cost of formula was something I don't know that we had put a lot of thought into. It was just a necessity. And we were very prideful. We didn't want to ask for help. And there were months where we had to go without eating out. There were months where we had to limit our car usage to save gas. There were months where we had to turn down the heat and be cold, and months we had to turn up the air conditioner and be hot. And months where we had to go without cable TV or going to movies or anything else just so we could buy formula. There were times I needed a suit and I couldn't buy a suit for my job as a lawyer because formula was more important. And there were times my wife needed clothes that she couldn't buy. and there was some goodwill shopping along the way. I completely understand how hard it can be for families, particularly at the Thanksgiving time of year. We lived that life where we were living paycheck to paycheck without a lot of money, and feeding our child was more important to us than anything else. And there are people right now who are in that situation who, like us, by the way, I suspect, too prideful to want to go to a soup kitchen or a food pantry or a food bank. And if you know that person, engage with that person, maybe invite them to your house for Thanksgiving. Encourage them, because I was there, and we freely admit it now. Like we're still that way. We don't want to ask for help, and it's just something. And now in my line of work and what I do, it seems even more difficult to ask for work or ask for help. And oftentimes now it's like, can somebody keep an eye on our kid while we're out of town and stuff like that? It's hard, and I recognize it's hard. But there are also people who want to help and don't know how to help. And if you're one of those people, will you help provide a Thanksgiving meal for someone in need this Thanksgiving? If you text the word donate to 33777 or go to the website Eric Thanksgiving, ERICK, Thanksgiving.com, you'll be directed to Hungry for a Day's fundraising portal to raise money for people to buy them a meal for Thanksgiving, wherever you are in the country. Hungry for a Day is partnered with local soup kitchens and food banks to provide a turkey or ham, all the fixins and dessert for Thanksgiving. And all they need from you is your money. $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you can give makes a difference. For every $40 raised, that's $10 per person for a four-person household, the $40 will provide them a turkey, the sides, and dessert. It will provide $40 will provide a Thanksgiving meal for a family in need, thanks to the generosity and help of a lot of people working with food banks and soup kitchens and other stores across America. From Connecticut to Alaska to California to Florida, we have partnered with Hungry for a Day now for 5 years. They have worked in areas of the country where you hear my voice on the radio, and they want to help. They started in Atlanta, and they've spread out. And your generosity really does matter. I pray regularly, oftentimes badly, sometimes very rote habit. But I oftentimes pray, and pretty much every night now pray, God, please be generous with me so I can be generous with other people. And I've tried to be. I took some friends of mine who couldn't afford to go. I took them to Las Vegas this past weekend and put them up in a nice hotel, bought their round of golf at an expensive golf course, paid for their airfare and meals. Had a business meeting out there anyway, needed somebody to go with me, and it was a great way to treat some friends and take care of work and do something nice for people who have been very kind to me over the years. And I can do that. And my wife and I have written a very large check to Hungry for a Day because God has been generous to us. And I do want to give back and be generous to other people. I don't want to guilt you into giving. No one should be guilted into giving. And there are a lot of people struggling this year, even more so than last year. Costs have gone up. And it aggravates me that my side of the aisle, which was bashing the Democrats, now can't really be honest about the cost situation right now. Costs have gone up, and some of you can't give. You don't need help, but you would need help if you were too generous. And I don't want you to give. I want you to take care of your family. But if you have the ability to give and the ability to help, if you will consider texting donate to 33777. Hungry for a Day will make sure families across this country are taken care of with a Thanksgiving meal on Thanksgiving, the turkey, the sides, and dessert. They work with local food banks and food pantries. They work with local soup kitchens to make sure it happens. And then during the year, they partner with soup kitchens around the country, and they make sure they have upgraded equipment. They've got the food they need to provide for people each week. My father-in-law has been a recipient of the generosity of Hungry for a Day over the years. They've helped him buy a new refrigerator and a new oven, among other things. And they're a great group. They're wonderful people. It's an all-volunteer effort, so 100% of your donation actually goes to the cost of buying the food. If you could, please text donate to 33777. Follow the link or just go to ericthanksgiving.com and donate today. Now, let me move on to the other news of the day because we've got to get to the Epstein Island situation. The Democrats are all about Epstein Island again because they lost the shutdown fight. And I got to get there. But first, Charlie's telling me I should go to line 2 to Courtney and take his call. Courtney, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Courtney. I'm sorry. Hey, Eric. I'm doing good. And actually, when I called in, you actually kind of hit on what I wanted to call in and comment on because right at the end when you were saying that not only they feeding for Thanksgiving, they also feed throughout the year because it was a story I was telling the screen caller that it was over 10 years ago, it was a long time ago, that it was a homeless guy where he stayed in the storage and I would pick him up from time to time and help me do some landscaping. And I remember asking him if he wanted to come in and take a shower, and he said he didn't want to, and I thought that was kind of weird. And when we talked about it, he said, well, he didn't want to just take a shower this one time because he normally don't take a shower. He would go to Waffle House and wash himself and things of that nature. And again, you kind of hit on it. So I just wanted to be mindful that as the holidays come around, and we always raise for during the holidays where people eat that one time, but they got to deal with it throughout the year. So I just want us to kind of be mindful, kind of want to comment on that. That is, not the politics aside with SNAP and everything. It's just, people willing to give during the holidays, but these folks is also living this life the rest throughout the year, So, and I thank you for even being transparent with your wife and, the things that you dealt with as well when y'all was dealing with what you was dealing with. So that was my comment.
Look, I appreciate it. And Courtney, it's a great point because, I mean, it's one thing to help at Thanksgiving, but to be generous throughout the year because there are a lot of families that still struggle, and more so today. And it's not a political point. And unfortunately, we live in a society where you make this stuff. You're insulting President Trump. I'm not. It is a reality. Inflation is at 3%. Wages are not keeping up. Ed from out in Oklahoma, Tulsa, listening on KRMG, he emailed me, and I made the point yesterday that you got to have wages to rise above inflation. That's not happening right now. And he's like, what about people on fixed income? Their wages aren't going up at all. And so the elderly in the country in particular are being impacted by inflation right now. And there are a whole lot of people and a lot of need in the country. And there are a lot of people who can't help. So let me just talk to those of you right now who think, I can't give a penny. I don't want you to feel guilty because I have been in that role. There was a time I needed help, and there was a time I didn't need any help, but I had nothing left to give. And I was racked with guilt at the idea that there was literally nothing. People say, oh, well, just give up your lunch, give up your coffee. I had already given it up. I was making ends meet, and that was it. I'd given every last thing up that I could give up to be able to provide for my family. I did not have a penny left to give to anyone. We gave to church because God said to. And even that was a struggle. And you know what? I don't want you to give. If you don't have anything to give, don't. But pray. Because you can pray. You should pray. Prayer is powerful stuff. And prayer got my wife and me through a whole lot of stuff. Financial, spiritual, and otherwise. And just pray. If you can't give, pray that others can. If you can't give, pray that you're get in a position to be able to. If you can't give, pray that those you can't give to help will still be helped by others. Just the power of prayer is a powerful thing. And in a secular world, we don't talk about it, but just pray about it. Don't feel guilty. Get on your knees and pray. That's your work to do. Those of you who have the money to give, please give. Please text donate to 33777. Stop putting off your charitable obligation to the government. That's what the left does. Somebody, well, the government's going to take care of it. I don't want the government taking care of it. I don't want people being dependent on the government. I want people who are in need of a Thanksgiving meal this year to know it was the generosity not of Uncle Sam, but of their fellow Americans, of their neighbors who were taking care of them. And that's why I believe that if you can give, you should give, because I think the world needs to see that we are generous people and not just dependent on government to take care of the needs of other Americans, that we do it as well. So if you can give, please text donate to 33777 or go to ericthanksgiving.com. And we've partnered with Hungry for a Day. They will pair up with food banks, soup kitchens around the country, particularly in our listening areas, to make sure that people in those areas have a Thanksgiving meal. If you can help, please help. If you can't help, don't feel guilty about it. I've been there, and I know that guilt. Oh, I know that's the eat it you guilt. That you want to help and you can't, that's the eat it you guilt. And about the only cure for that is prayer. Be as generous as you can, and if you can't be generous, you can pray, and that's your generosity.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Still watching the slow traffic 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side, starting just south of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive down to the emergency road repairs and 2 right lanes at Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Beaufort Spring connectors extra slow, leaving Sidney Marcus Boulevard heading southbound toward I-85 in Midtown due to earlier trouble on 85 South that has since cleared. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Ready for a financial partner that puts you first? Discover the difference at Georgia United Credit Union. Visit gucu.org/join. Insured by NCUA. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
1 in 7 Georgians and 1 in 5 Georgia children are estimated to be food insecure.
With SNAP benefits going away in the holiday here, times are especially hard, but you can help make a difference today.
It's the annual 95.5 WSB Triple Team Traffic Food Drive.
Go to WSBradio.com and contribute to help the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Or come out in person on Friday, November 21st to the Publix located at 11800 Haynesbridge Road in Alpharetta.
Help a local family in need. Go to WSBradio.com to find out how you can donate today.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, a Delta classical concert featuring French nonpareil Hélène Grimaud. Performing Brahms' stormy first piano concerto, Stutzman pairs Brahms with his mentor, the romantic Robert Schumann, with his third symphony nicknamed the Rhenish Symphony, for evoking sights and sounds along the storied Rhine. November 20th and 21st at Symphony Hall. Details at aso.org.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney's show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Mary, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Yeah, I was telling your call screener, how is it that the companies and certain Republicans are pushing HB1 visas for the higher income jobs, right? And then we have the Democrats on the other end pushing illegals on the lower income jobs, and you're stirring a little bit of AI. Where does that leave everybody else? You know,
yeah,
you
on the unemployment line.
But then people have a hard time finding out why some people are flirting with socialism because they feel the system is rigged against them. And I don't agree with socialism. You know, I understand it's bad.
But, you
I
know,
understand.
so you raise a point that I've been trying to make as directly as I can, that if Republicans who promise they can fix the economy don't fix the economy, younger people are going to turn to the socialists and say maybe they do have an answer for it. The Democrats said, we're not socialists, and they wrecked the economy. The Republicans came in and said, we're not socialists, and they wrecked the economy. So then the socialists are going to say, look, they keep saying not us, but maybe we can fix it. Give us a chance. And this is why young people, I mean, they look at the billionaires and say the billionaires are bad. They look at the wealthy getting wealthy, and they don't feel like they are. There are also these bizarre expectations. I saw someone the other day suggest that we got to get back to one parent working and being able to afford everything. You know, you can still do that in this country. My kids go to a private school where there are families who have one parent working, and they live in tiny houses with very old cars, and the family unit is together. They're doing which one, but that's not what people mean these days. They want the 500,000 square foot house and the brand new car, and that's never been. They just have this delusion of it. So we also have to manage expectations here some, too. We'll get into this when we come back. First, I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. They were actually started by conservatives because the left has been trying to shut conservatives out of the banking industry for a number of years now, trying to target conservatives, particularly targeting gun manufacturers, gun owners, gun stores, and conservative organizations. And Old Glory Bank started by conservatives saying, we're not going to debank people. We're going to support people. It's now the fastest growing bank in the country. You can go to oldglorybank.com today, and you can sign up at oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/Eric. You sign up at Old Glory Bank, and they will take care of you. They will protect you from the debanking trends. You can get a no-fee checking, no-fee savings. If you are if you're a veteran, first responder, you're active duty military, you can get waivers of fees on like interest-bearing checking accounts, things like that. If you're a business, they got great business checking. I recommended a number of gun manufacturers and gun stores go to Old Glory Bank. You're not going to worry about cancellation. They work with you. They're very hands-on. You can even deposit cash even though they're an online bank, and they're good people. OldGloryBank.com/Eric, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. It's being called historic. A methamphetamine seizure in Cherokee County. Some 200 pounds of meth valued at $500,000 confiscated. This drug bust took place at an undisclosed storage facility out in Cherokee County. Drug agents saying this operation had ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent street gang MS-13. Your weather for today, sunny and warm, headed for a high of 63 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The House will take up the bill passed by the Senate to end the government shutdown, but even if it passes today, air travel could still be impacted and be problematic for those who are traveling over the days to come. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he will work to make the path forward as smooth as possible. Correspondent Carter Evans has more on what happens next if the bill passes the House.
What we are hearing from both the government and airlines is yes, but that's a big if. They have to pass this bill tonight. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said he's not just going to all of a sudden ramp everything back up to full speed. He wants to make sure that those air traffic control towers are fully staffed and to be able to handle the number of passengers.
Now, the package passed by the Senate to reopen the government expected to be voted on in the House this evening. Check back for updates. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, Raphael Bostic, is retiring at the end of his current term in February, opening up a new seat on the Fed's interest rate setting committee. He serves on the committee that decides key short-term interest rates. President Trump has repeatedly attacked the Fed this year for not cutting interest rates as quickly as he thinks they should. A new report says there's a young home buyer crisis in the U.S. According to the National Association of Realtors, the typical age of the first-time buyer has climbed to an all-time high of 40 years old. The report also says the number of first-time home buyers dropped to a record low of 21% this year. On top of that, a Coldwell Banker report says 84% of Generation Z say they're putting off major life milestones like getting married, having children, just to afford to buy a home. Skyrocketing home prices and high mortgage rates are to blame. The crisis has prompted the White House, as you know, to propose that new 50-year mortgage. It's 1:32.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit aquaguard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. Our team's 2025 study of retirees found that happy retirees are 2 times more likely versus unhappy retirees to simply have a written retirement plan. Just think, you may be able to double your likelihood of happiness by simply taking an hour to sit down and put pen to paper. If you'd like a financial advisor to help you tackle the trickier questions that need answers, reach out to our team at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
2 homes, same block, one sold for way more because they used Orchard. Move first, skip the stress, and sell for top dollar. Don't wait. Get your free home valuation now at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer for a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods. And check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Have a stress-free Thanksgiving that's sure to impress? Hey, it's Mark Aram here for my friends at Publix. Just heat and serve a traditional feast that are going to leave your guests loving it. Includes a whole turkey, cooked, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, gravy. Serves 8 people, and the price for the meal, just $69.99. That's less than $10 per person. Amazing meal from my amazing friends at Publix.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Still watching that pothole repair on the west side perimeter, Sabrina. 2 right lanes blocked. 285 southbound, the outer loop, Highway 166, Langford Parkway, exit number 5. A few brake lights into Midtown and downtown, 75-85 southbound, starting at 17th Street. And looks like construction cleared 20 eastbound into Cab before Panola Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly sunny and mild today, high 63, clear and cool tonight, lows in the mid-40s.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. We return now to Epstein's Island. Sounds like a TV show, doesn't it? The plane, boss. Oh my gosh, here comes Stephen Hawking. I want to go to the island. I just am deeply mesmerized by the rapid media shift to, hey, let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein again. So if you actually look at what has been released about Epstein and Donald Trump's involvement, they have redacted what they claim is one of the people claiming that Donald Trump knew everything about Epstein. It is Virginia Giuffre, and she committed suicide prior to her death. She testified multiple times that Donald Trump knew nothing, did nothing, never saw him at Epstein's house. She had the damning indictment in her book about Prince Andrew, but left out Donald Trump. And so the Democrats, essentially, they've released these emails claiming Trump had knowledge of stuff. They redacted the email address and the name of the person telling them, because it turns out to be a woman who testified repeatedly under oath that Donald Trump did nothing, and yet the media is running with this stuff. It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump knew. I was on Anderson Cooper on Monday night talking about the Epstein stuff. And my point to Anderson Cooper was, this is why I hate Washington, and frankly why I hate the Democrats, the Republicans, the media, all of them. It is not a coincidence that the Epstein stuff is coming out as the Democrats surrender the shutdown fight. They trotted out first a whistleblower. Republicans and Democrats alike are getting really good at claiming whistleblowers have said things and that we don't know are true or not. And the Democrats are using this because they can't talk about the economy. So I want to talk to the Republicans in Congress for just a moment, please. Philip, you cut this clip up however you want to cut it up. But I want to talk to Republicans in Congress. The Democrats just lost a shutdown fight and immediately pivoted to talking about Jeffrey Epstein because they couldn't talk about the economy. The president on Laura Ingram's program, when she pointed out coffee prices are high, the president noted he's cutting the tariff on coffee, which is an admission against interest that the tariffs have played a role in driving up the cost of coffee, but other groceries as well. So you Republicans, please pay attention to this. When the Democrats lost the shutdown fight, they did not pivot to talking to Americans about their economic concerns. They pivoted to talking about Jeffrey Epstein, which is their admission against interest that they have no economic policy that will improve the lives of Americans. So you Republicans, this is your time to fix the economy. It behooves you to tell the president get rid of the tariffs. It behooves you to come up with another reconciliation package that further cuts taxes. It behooves you to pressure the executive branch to undergo rapid deregulation. It behooves you to push for expanded oil drilling to drive down gas prices further. There's your economic policies that the Democrats can't talk about. This is why the Democrats and the media are talking about Jeffrey Epstein. They literally do not have an economic agenda for the American public. And you can have an economic agenda. You have the opportunity to go into the midterms with a pro-America message. The Democrats have pivoted from losing a shutdown fight to screaming about Jeffrey Epstein because they don't have a plan. Here's your time for a plan. And for all of you Republicans out there, I would remind you that when Donald Trump was president the first time, he had a roaring economy. Yes, interest rates were way lower, but also, you know what? He had deregulated. He had expanded oil production. He did not impose blanket tariffs on everyone. He did selectively at the time. He targeted China at the time. China's economy right now is weak. China's economy is teetering on the edge. I say tariff China, but get rid of the other tariffs. Tell countries we'll go to zero tariff if you go to zero tariff, and watch the economic engine of America roar up, and the Democrats have nothing to counter with it because the Democrats are focused on Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason the Democrats are focused on Jeffrey Epstein is because they have nothing to offer the American people, so they must stimulate their base with titillating conspiracies about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. You Republicans are idiots if you do not seize the opportunity to fix the economy and stop telling yourself there's nothing wrong with the economy, because clearly Americans think there's something wrong with the economy. You will recall when Joe Biden was president of the United States, what did the Democrats say? That annoying little word, vibes. It was a vibes election. No, it was a people can't afford groceries election. And the Democrats said it was the vibes. Oh, the economy's fine. It's just the vibes are wrong. No, the economy was wrong. The economy wasn't working. Then you Republicans are doing the same thing now. You're saying, oh, people just don't feel like the economy's working, but it's roaring. Why are you co-opting Democratic talking points that lost them the election? Why don't you say we're still dealing with Joe Biden's economy, but we're going to fix it, and then tell the president to get rid of tariffs? If you are a Republican and you've doubled down on tariffs, you deserve to lose the election, because we know the effect tariffs are having. It's not just driving up costs on Americans, it's suppressing wage growth. It's not just suppressing wage growth, it's suppressing reinvestment in companies that include job creation. Everything I told you that would happen with tariffs is happening. And some of you have dug in your heels. And it's not just the tariffs. The tax situation is still convoluted. But you know what part of the problem with the tariffs is the president changes his mind every other freaking day. We're going to have 20% tariffs. No, 10% tariffs. Uh-oh, 50% tariffs. Oh, they said something not nice about me. 110% tariffs. Oh, now they've apologized. We're going to have 5% tariffs. Nobody knows what the hell to do anymore because the president on a dime could turn and change the tariffs. And you're waiting on the Supreme Court to save you from yourselves. You Republicans are going to lose the midterms if you do not fix the economy. The Democrats have nothing to offer except Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories and boys and girls sports. You people are idiots if you don't seize on the economy as the issue and fix it. And the Democrats can't talk about it because the American people don't trust them. They still trust you, Republicans, but right now they're blaming you. And they will soon stop trusting you. If you cannot convince the president to ditch tariffs, you're toast, because they are spectacularly bad for the economy. But again, it's not just tariffs. It's not just tariffs. You have out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C. I want you to picture two buckets in your head and a man holding money. You've got the government bucket and the private sector bucket. As the government grows, people are throwing their money. That man is throwing his money in the government bucket, not the private sector bucket. He's buying government bonds. That it takes money away from the private sector. So the private sector is not growing in this country because the government sector is growing. Every dollar that goes into the government bucket is a dollar that does not go into the private sector bucket. And as the national debt grows, more money goes into the government bucket by design. You Republicans have got to rein in the cost of doing business in Washington. You've got to control the federal government. We are getting to a point in this country where it doesn't matter who's in charge. The economy cannot grow because the government is growing too fast. If you are going to get a guaranteed rate of return on a 4% bond versus instability in the stock market where the 85% of the stock market isn't doing well and the rest is very overpriced, you get a guaranteed rate of return from the government. You don't have to worry about a share price going down. You don't have to worry about the stock market crashing. You get a guaranteed rate of return from the government. You're going to put your money there. And that takes money out of the private sector. It takes money away from investing in businesses. It takes money away from growing businesses. Meanwhile, we have this massive under-regulated private sector economy where the rich are getting richer and the poor can't get rich because all these companies, they're off the stock market. Now they're in these private, mostly unregulated private markets where they're doing investments with billionaires and private equity firms, and American 401ks are shut out of it. That's a problem you Republicans need to address. And all of these problems go towards companies essentially trying to grow and get around the growth of government, and they're having a harder and harder time doing it. And this is going to be bad for you, the Republicans. This will be bad for the GOP if you can't fix the economy. You've got to fix the economy. The Democrats and the media have pivoted to Jeffrey Epstein. They want to drag the president with Jeffrey Epstein. Part of the reason they're doing this is because Republicans did it to them. You know, a lot of the names, Anderson Cooper pointed this out on Monday night when I was on a show, that right-wing conspiracy theorists claimed that Anderson Cooper was involved in the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, that his name appeared on lists. First of all, Anderson Cooper is a gay man. He wasn't going to go down to Epstein's Island to hang out with underage women. Second, Anderson Cooper actually is a very decent human being who I very much like, and he wasn't going to participate in human trafficking. Third, they just made it up. And guess what? There are a lot of Democrats who are now making stuff up about the president, and it's payback because the Republicans made stuff up about them and tied it to Hunter Biden. On the campaign trail, the president of the United States, the current director and deputy director of the FBI and others, they said, Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. The Democrats are covering it up. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. It's a Democratic cover-up. And now the Republicans are in charge and the tables are turned and it's payback time for the Democrats. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. The Republicans are covering it up. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. The Republicans are involved. Trump's involved. Both sides use Jeffrey Epstein to beat up the other side. And then they trot out whistleblowers. A whistleblower told me that there was a cover-up in the White House about the cocaine investigation. A whistleblower told me there was a cover-up in the White House about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. They don't really care about the whistleblowers. They made up the whistleblowers. But they got the media run with it to beat up the other side. And now the Democrats are back, and it's all Jeffrey Epstein. They just surrendered on a federal government shutdown. They got nothing for it. So, of course, they've rushed out to Epstein, 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 Epstein. Guys, you have an opportunity on the Republican side to meaningfully improve the economy. If you don't, the Democrats are going to eat your lunch at the election. People voted Republicans to fix Joe Biden's economy, and they don't feel like you fixed it. They feel like you've gotten distracted. A 50-year mortgage helps the bank, not the individual. A 15-year car loan helps the bank, not the individual. Why are you helping the banks and not the individuals? Help the American public. If you help the American public, you're going to be able to beat the Democrats. The fact that the Democrats have nothing other than Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories should tell you everything you need to know, that you hold the upper hand if you just choose to exercise it. Brad in Southern Pines, North Carolina, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Eric. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm going to give you a hot take here. The hot take is I see the Republicans voting for continuing the Affordable Care Act subsidies because they know they can't fix the economy quick enough to make a meaningful impact in the midterms, and that if they allow these subsidies to expire, everybody's health insurance is going to double or triple, and the voters are going to take it out on the Republicans. I saw it in the auto industry when GM unveiled 10 years ago a 20% off MSRP deal. They ran it for so long that when the dealers finally pushed back and said, we don't want it anymore, GM finally caved in, but sales dropped. So they had to immediately bring it back to stimulate sales. Mm-hmm. We've been 15 years with this Affordable Care Act, and there's no way to fix it. We've gone down this rabbit hole so far. But unless the Republicans can get rid of the tariffs, I don't see a way that they can allow these subsidies to expire.
Yeah, look, I that may be a hot take, but I think it's a reasonable hot take I think they're totally going to cave on the issue, and they're going to keep funding Obamacare. The speaker says they don't have the votes for it. Oh, I think they have the votes for it because they don't have an alternative. It's the same on the Democrats. They don't have an alternative on the economy. And I got to tell you, I think if the Republicans played it smart, if you got to do this, do it, but get rid of the tariffs and stimulate the economy so that you have the money in the private sector economy to get off these subsidies. I don't think you should extend the subsidies, by the way, but it's not going to surprise me if they do.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching the emergency road repair, 2 right lanes, 285 southbound, the outer loop, Highway 166, Langford Parkway, exit 5. Also a little slow, 85 northbound, leaving 285 in DeKalb, trying to get up to Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99 in Norcross. But again, just volume there, no crashes in the way. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Ready for a financial partner that puts you first? Discover the difference at Georgia United Credit Union. Visit gucu.org/join. Insured by NCUA. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Findlay Roofing. The Roof guys are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Time to replace your roof? Please think of Findlay first. FindlayRoofing.com.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Becker store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Nate Bargatze, Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. State Farm Arena, Saturday and Sunday, November 15th and 16th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been... be right back. They've been rehearsing... bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
If someone causes you to lay your bike down, hiring proper representation is critical. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Don't hire a lawyer because of slick commercials. Hire a local lawyer that specializes in motorcycle injury law. You can trust my friends at Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a rider and understands bikers' needs. Steel Horse Law has represented thousands of local riders and can maximize the value of your recovery. Schedule your free consultation at steelhorselaw.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Hello there, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to help you. You know, the Democrats are none too pleased with the shutdown being over. They would like to prolong it. This is Representative Krishnamurthy on CNN.
One of the senators voting for this deal was Senator Dick Durbin, the Illinois senator who's retiring the Illinois Senate seat you are now running to win. Did Dick Durbin cut a bad deal for America?
Well, I disagree with his vote, but, you know, he's had an illustrious career of standing up for working families. I'm not going to tear him down today. But today we are in the House, and we're going to vote on this deal. I'm going to be voting no. There's still time for this to get righted. I think that it's going to be on razor's edge, as it normally is in the House. And so I hope that your viewers speak up and ask Democrats to stand united, and also get a few Republicans to flip as well.
When you talk about getting it righted, what do you mean? Amendments or voting this down?
I'd like to see it voted down. I want it voted down, and I think we got to go back to the drawing table. Look, the ACA tax credits are about to expire, and as it is, we have 11 hospitals in Illinois that are about to close because of what the president calls the big, beautiful bill. I call it the large, lousy law. I visited these hospitals in Illinois, and they're basically saying, look, if this ACA tax credit issue is not resolved and those tax credits are not extended, it's going to put additional pressure, and maybe even more health systems may face closure as well.
Look, the Democrats are deeply furious, and they have nothing to offer other than Obamacare. Republicans, you gotta fill the void here. You've got to fill the void, and you've got to be willing and able to push back against this insane Democratic overreach, or people are going to go looking for someone else, and I'm afraid they're going to really, particularly younger people, are going to flirt with socialists. You got to offer the young people something and tell them we need more H-1B visas and 600,000 Chinese students in our universities and the like. You're asking for trouble, Republicans. Do better. Do better. Now, I got to tell you, you want to do better with odors in your house, the Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a way to go because, my goodness, it's fantastic, and it certainly makes a big difference in my house when I have to use it to eliminate odors. You go to EdenPureDeals.com and you put in the discount code ERICK3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com, and you can get 3 of them. You save $200. You get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. So it's an air purifier. It's also an odor eliminator. I don't use it for the air purification, getting rid of the dust and the pollen in the air. I use it for the odor elimination, and it works exactly as advertised. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERICK3. You get 3 of them for less than $200. EdenPureDeals.com. ERICK3 is your discount code.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look at beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Hassler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Hassler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You still want a new deck on your house, but you think you may have missed a deck building window? Well, you're wrong. Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. What makes them my experts? Well, for starters, when you have Ben Hill Renovations upgrading your outdoor living space, you're dealing with professionals. You have a company building to code, current and future. You have a company pulling permits when needed, with a dedicated project manager for every job, superior craftsmanship from over 60-plus years of experience, and all backed by their workmanship warranty. Whether you want a screened-in porch, an outdoor living area, a multi-story wraparound deck, or just a simple deck with a set of stairs, Ben Hill Renovations has you covered. Plus, they offer multiple financing options, up to 18 months, no interest with affordable monthly payments. Check out their new website at bhrenovations.com and set up an appointment, or visit their showroom and speak with a designer. You won't be disappointed. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. The nation's nightmare could be ending soon. The House votes on a bill to end the record-long government shutdown tonight. CBS's Carter Evans reports Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is optimistic air travel will soon return to normal.
The good news is he thinks we can be up to speed within a week or so. And the Thanksgiving rush, the early Thanksgiving rush, really could begin as early as next Thursday. So that gives us a week to get things back up to normal. Delta's CEO said today, if the vote goes through tonight, he expects things with his airline to be back to normal by the weekend.
66 degrees in Atlanta, trending warmer. Wind to the 70s return. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. The largest meth bust in Cherokee County history leads to the seizure of 200 pounds of methamphetamine valued at $500,000. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office says it represents a significant blow to a drug trafficking operation with known ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent MS-13 street gang. Fire investigators are looking into what caused a deadly house fire on Flagler Way in Dallas.
Paulding County fire units were dispatched to a structure fire. We had a report that somebody was trapped or maybe trapped.
Captain Steve Mapes says a wheelchair-bound man in his 70s died in the fire. A woman was taken to the hospital with smoke inhalation. A first for Georgia Gwinnett College, a graduate program, and it'll help get more teachers in Georgia.
Georgia Gwinnett College says in an effort to meet the needs of Gwinnett County and beyond, the school plans to offer a Master of Arts in Teaching in Secondary Education.
There is a teacher shortage nationwide, including here in the state of Georgia.
That is Dr. Shavandra Mills, Senior Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs. She says pending approval from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, the school will begin offering classes in the spring of 2027. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
A new study from Kennesaw State University finds teachers in Marietta mostly like the idea of banning cell phones in class.
The teachers are saying students' engagement improved, student discussion in the classroom has increased, and they also feel teaching has become more rewarding.
KSU professor Maylin Chang says teachers say banning cell phones limits the competition for student attention. It is now 2:02, and this news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Are you starting to consider a new roof, but not sure if it's needed or what it might cost?
Tim Andrews, if you're going to impersonate Scott Slade, you might want to add a little bottom.
A little bottom to it.
A little bass, yes.
I'm working on that.
Well, you don't have to impersonate me. We're both here for FGA Roofing.
I know them.
FGA Roofing offers their free drone assessment. And you'll know if it just needs a fix, a rejuvenation, or a new roof. They'll quote you a price, and if you mention Scott Slade, they'll take $750 off the quote.
What about me?
Mention Tim Andrews, they'll take $750 off the quote.
That's $1,500.
If you mention both of us. And here's the best part. That quote is good for 1 year.
With your good credit, you can take advantage of their 000 offer. That's 0 down payment, 0 payments for 18 months, and 0 interest.
They offer all types of roofs, from architectural or any of the high-end roofs like Slate.
Take the first step now and set up an appointment at FGAroofing.com. That's FGAroofing.com.
or just Google FGA Roofing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Fall is here, and with it comes cool air and heavy rains. All that moisture doesn't just smell bad, it affects the air your family breathes and even your home's foundation.
44 causing a few brake lights as you leave I-20. Before that, afternoon volume filling in from the 85-400 merge down toward Midtown. An emergency road repair continues 2 right lanes on the west side perimeter. 285 southbound, Highway 166 Langford Parkway, exit 5. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny skies and trending warmer today. High 63, lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, warming still, high 67. We're back in the 70s by Friday afternoon.
And it is beautiful out this afternoon. We are in the 60s across the metro area, 62 in Duluth, 65 in Douglasville, and 66 in Stockbridge. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. I'm delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, if you would, please text the word donate to 33777. And you can donate to help families at Thanksgiving this year. We have partnered with Hungry for a Day nationwide, feeding families. We are close to having 1,000 supporters on this. We're at 964 donations right now. We're getting close to 1,000. If you would, we're running a little behind last year. Last year we raised over $300,000. We're a little bit behind this year. We're hoping to pick up. So if you text donate to 33777, I would appreciate it. We got to talk about China. One of the things that I enjoy doing, one of the things that I think I should do as a conservative radio show host is not just give you the politics of the here and now. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about, like raising money for people for food for Thanksgiving, but also talking about the world around us, because we live in a very global, interactive world. And I think there is a strain now on the right in the United States that has spun off from the left that forgets how interconnected the world is. So, for example, if you want to be reminded of how interconnected the world is and how absurd some government policies can be, the United States government has set to fine a number of Italian pasta makers for dumping pasta in the United States. Now, what is dumping? Dumping is when you flood a market and allegedly underprice other people. You're accused of dumping. It actually means Americans can buy cheap pasta. This is not a Trump thing, by the way. This started during the Biden administration. It's just the bureaucracy. So 12 pasta makers in Italy who make real Italian pasta in Italy are going to be fined for dumping pasta in the United States, driving up the cost so much it's going to drive them out of business. Do you know why they were able to sell pasta so cheaply in the United States? Because they were buying wheat from North Dakota. And the North Dakota wheat was cheap. In fact, a lot of Italian pasta these days is actually made with durum wheat from North Dakota. Durum wheat is a hard wheat. Most wheat in the United States is a softer wheat. The durum wheat grown in North Dakota is very comparable to the wheat grown in Italy and in Ukraine, where they can't buy wheat from now for obvious reasons. So the Italians have been buying the North Dakota wheat. They've been able to make their pasta cheaper, send it to the United States at cheap prices. The domestic pasta manufacturers in the United States are outraged at the Italian pasta flowing in and got the Commerce Department to punish the Italians, who will now not buy wheat from the North Dakota farmers. We live in an interconnected world. One of those bits of interconnectivity comes with China as well, as we get so much from China. And there is a lot of economic data out there to suggest the Chinese are in a very not good economic situation. And it is a situation, in fact, that we could capitalize on. The Atlantic has a story that the EV market in China is exploding. In China, you could buy a heavily discounted used electric car that has never, in fact, been used. Chinese automakers, desperate to meet their sales targets in a bitterly competitive market, sell cars to dealerships, which register them as sold, even though no actual customer has bought them. Dealers stuck with officially sold cars, then offload them as used, often at low prices. The practice has become so prevalent, the Chinese Communist Party is trying to stop it. Its main newspaper, the People's Daily, complained earlier this year that this sales inflating tactic disrupts normal market order and criticized companies for their data worship. This sign of serious problems in China's electric vehicle industry may come as a surprise to many Americans. The Chinese electric car has become a symbol of the country's seemingly unstoppable rise on the world stage. Many observers point to their growing popularity as evidence that China is winning the race to dominate new technologies. But in China, these electric cars represent something entirely different. The profound threats that Beijing's meddling in markets poses in both China and the rest of the world. That's data point one. Data point two, this from the New York Times. China's nuclear forces are expanding quickly, yet behind that rise, the top leader, Xi Jinping's sweeping purge of generals and military leaders has exposed deep-seated corruption and raised questions about the country's ability to manage its growing arsenal. The uncertainty adds to concerns about a new era of volatility in global nuclear politics, as President Trump has called for renewed U.S. testing and as Washington is pushing through major changes in its military. President Trump's Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has fired or sidelined at least 24 generals and admirals over the past 9 months, actions that are without precedent in recent decades and have come with little explanation. The shakeup has raised fears of growing political interference in a military that has long prided itself in being apolitical. In Beijing, Mr. Xi's purges in the People's Liberation Army cut far deeper. He's carried out a cleanup that has shaken the Rocket Force, the branch that oversees nuclear forces, and is crucial to Xi's ambitions to build a world-class military by 2049. Top commanders have disappeared. Others have been jailed. Defense contractors have been stripped of party titles and detained for investigations. Early in his rule, Mr. Xi warned that the Soviet Union collapsed because the party lost control of its military and no real man had stepped forward, noted Joseph Torigian, an associate professor at American University who studied Chinese leadership. His military purges likely reflect his obsession with preparing for worst-case scenarios at home and abroad, whether it is protests over economic policy or political suppression, or needing to fight the United States in a war over Taiwan, the democratically governed island Beijing claims as a territory. Mr. Xi thinks materialism and corruption are a direct threat to the military's ability to defeat enemies. In Xi's mind, it makes members of the military vulnerable to Western infiltration, whether literally in terms of becoming an agent or because Western values lead to a desire to nationalize the military and split from party control. Now, one of the interesting things here is that what the New York Times is trying to do is to compare what Trump is doing to the American military to what Xi is doing to the Chinese military. The reality, however, is that what Xi is doing is he's not purging the wokes who don't want to fight. That's what Pete Hegseth is doing. He's purging a lot of the intellectual, academic, military figures who actually don't have battlefield experience. What Xi is trying to do is purge people who are independent thinkers. That's not what Hegseth is doing. Hegseth actually does want independent thinkers in the military. Xi wants people under his control. Now, how on earth is the electric vehicle situation in China comparable to the purges of the military? That, my friends, is what I am here for, to explain these things to you. In China, the Central Planning Committee of the Communist Party is in charge of everything. They are in charge of the military, and they are in charge of business. And they are worried about prices in the electric car industry in China. They're worried about prices in food industries in China. They've stopped producing regular, reliable public data because of concerns that they can't make the Chinese economy look better than it actually is. The president of China is also purging the military because he's afraid that in the military there have been rumors of dissatisfaction with the current leadership. Xi has overstayed his tenure in office. He served longer than anyone since Mao. And a number of people in the Politburo are suggesting this probably is not a good thing. Now, here's another data point. This is from Bloomberg. Beijing officials call China's current deflationary malaise involution, a destructive cycle of intense self-destroying business competition sparked by excess capacity. Yang Zhifeng calls it something else, twisted. The 24-year-old who has drifted from one low-paid job to another since graduating college 2 years ago, is living in the reality of a deflationary spiral that Bloomberg News analysis found looks even deeper than what the official numbers show. Using data on almost 70 everyday products and services from multiple sources, the analysis showed prices dropped more sharply than the headline Consumer Price Index indicates, especially for goods that ordinary consumers buy. Yang is both a victim and perpetrator of this vicious cycle. With job prospects looking slim, she opened a cocktail stall earlier this year but had to close it just 3 months later. Discounts from food delivery platforms, drinks for a few cents, wiped her out. She considered going back to a factory job she had 5 years ago that used to pay about $980 a month, only to find it now pays just $630 a month. With money tight, she spends $1.40 or less on meals, bought from the same delivery platforms that forced her out of competition. I've become the kind of consumer who destroys businesses like mine, she said. She's just one example out of many where falling prices are hurting the bottom line. Deflation signals a lopsided economy where supply dwarfs demand. That hurts companies, which in turn hurts workers. As consumption weakens, businesses spend less, economic activity slows, debt burdens rise, which then cause deflation, more deflation. The downward loop, known in economics as the deflationary spiral, feeds on itself once entrenched, and it can have global implications. Cheap Chinese exports can depress prices abroad, strain relations with trading partners, create knock-on effects for multinational companies. Global institutions are sounding the alarm, with the International Monetary Fund projecting consumer inflation in China will average 0 this year, the second lowest of nearly 200 economies it tracks. The Bank of Korea warned in July that China could export deflation to its trading partners, and the problem could be even worse than we realize. China's official figure, which offers limited item-level detail and is shaped by a complex methodology that isn't transparent, has hovered around 0 since 2023. Bloomberg analyzed prices for dozens of products in 36 major cities, as well as both official and private data across China, to get a sense of how much cheaper things have become. And guess what? It finds that, on average, 51 of the 67 items dropped in price over the last 2 years. Now, this is where our tariffs come in handy. And if the president's team has any sense about them, they will get rid of tariffs on our trading partners, and they will tariff the hell out of China, because we have an opportunity to knock China further. China is declining. You know, I pulled up data the other day, and it showed that the Chinese economy had surpassed the American economy. The CIA World Book and the International Monetary Fund, They both had numbers showing China's economy now producing more gross domestic product than ours. Then it turns out they hadn't updated the figures in 2 years, and there was a blip during the COVID era when that was true, and China has declined so remarkably now, China may never be able to match our economy. You have turmoil in the Chinese military. You have turmoil in the Chinese consumer product index. You have turmoil in the Chinese banking sector. You have massive turmoil in the Chinese real estate sector. The United States needs to stand up right now and aggressively tariff China, undo the tariffs on everybody else, develop better trading relationships with our other partners, and cost China everything. We have an opportunity right now to hit the Chinese in the pocketbook in a way that will impact their military development, the costs of their military, and potentially oust Xi Jinping. You know what the Chinese are doing? I'm kidding you not. You know what Xi Jinping is doing? He's seeding the rumors in the Western press that, well, if you replace me, the people who replace me would be even more hostile to your interests. They want to invade Taiwan tomorrow. These literally, I get this from people. I read that the replacements for Xi are even worse. The whole reason the Politburo is turning on Xi Jinping is they think that his quest to take over Taiwan is destroying their economy. It's time for us to help destroy the Chinese economy. They're not our friend. They're our enemy. We should treat them as such.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Just had some better news downtown. The stall that was in the right lane, 7585 South University Avenue, exit 244, that has cleared. All lanes are back open. Pothole repair continues. 2 right lanes blocked, 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side, Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Ready for a financial partner that puts you first? Discover the difference at Georgia United Credit Union. Visit gucu.org/join. Insured by NCUA. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the Jam Cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits are squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a 3-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. I want to give you a word to text data to 33777. Text data to 33777 or data, whichever way you want to say it, data or data to 33777. Follow the link. You get a discount on the paid subscription to the daily show notes. But if you want the free option, it doesn't matter. Every subscriber is going to get my holiday recipe guide. We will push it out probably the end of this week, beginning of next week. It's got all the basic recipes. I mean, the pumpkin pie, the sweet potato pie, how I do my turkey, how I make my gravy, the salads, the mac and cheese, the cornbread dress. It's got all the good recipes. It's even got recipes for breakfast. If you got a family that's coming, it's got my French toast casserole and sausage egg bake recipes in there. And I'm going to compile all these into an actual cookbook. I have been working on a cookbook. I have gotten about 100 or so recipes. I got to worry about the photography and all of that stuff. But I'm working on the cookbook now. You people have wanted a cookbook. So I'm going to do a cookbook. That's my next book. I will not write a single other book, Philip, Bill, until the cookbook is done. I'll figure out how to do it. I mentioned it to the publisher of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and he's like, maybe we should help you with the cookbook. Maybe you should, because I don't know anything about doing a cookbook other than I know how to cook and write recipes and eat. So stand by for that. But if you text data to 33777, you can subscribe. You get a good discount on the paid subscription, so you get all the show notes. Or if you just want the freebie, that's fine. I'm going to send the recipe guide to everybody, as I do every year, who wants it, on how to cook all the great holiday recipes, because cooking is something I know how to do. I got to figure out if my father-in-law wants me to do the turkey this year or not. I need to ask him. That'd be bad if he thinks I'm doing it and he hasn't told me to do it, and then I don't do it and there's no turkey for things. This is a problem. I got to work on this. Okay. I'm sorry. Kobe, you told me where I'm going next, but I was suddenly worried about smoking a turkey for Thanksgiving on the Rec Tech, by the way. Okay, so AFPvolunteer.com, that is the website. If you would like to go to the website, you can sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can be way more plugged in than all your other friends. So what makes AFP unique? Well, it's the largest grassroots group in the country. It happens to fight for common sense conservative reforms. It has chapters in every state. When you get involved with Americans for Prosperity, you don't just get knowledge about common sense conservative reforms that are being advanced at your state level and your local level, but also at the federal level. They also teach you how to get involved. So, for example, you can learn how to knock on neighbors' doors and explain to them what's in the legislature, or try to get them out to vote in an election, try to explain to them why our side is right on these issues. Or you can learn how to just show up at your local school board or city council or your state legislature and press for these common sense conservative reforms. You can make a difference in shaping public policy in the country by going to afpvolunteer.com, afpvolunteer.com.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. It's being called historic. A methamphetamine seizure in Cherokee County. 200 pounds of meth valued at $500,000 is confiscated at a storage facility. Drug agents say this operation had ties to El Salvador, Mexico, and the violent street gang MS-13. The House is expected to vote today on a resolution passed by the Senate to end the 43-day government shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson says the final vote is set for 7 o'clock.
We're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen, and we're sorry that it took this long.
The deal would fund the government through the end of January. It does not address the expiring subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which Democrats were fighting for. The president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, Raphael Bostic, is retiring at the end of his current term in February. He served 9 years at the central bank. Bostic didn't have a vote on the Fed's open market committee this year, with Atlanta next getting a vote in 2027. President Trump has repeatedly attacked the Fed this year for not cutting interest rates sooner. An unusual sight in Georgia. Jim Ryan reports people across a large swath of the country will have a rare chance to see the northern lights again tonight.
In the same way that meteor showers are best viewed away from city lights, a drive into the country provides an optimum chance at seeing the aurora borealis. People as far south as Florida saw the northern lights last night with the naked eye, but smartphone cameras with night mode may have a better chance of catching the phenomenon. Just look north.
It's now 2:32. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Been wanting a new deck for your home, something that's built just the way you want it? But you're scared to pull the trigger? I can help you with that. Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Right now, Ben Hill Renovations are offering special financing. No interest if you pay in full within the 18 months promo period. You're welcome. Visit bhrenovations.com today and schedule a free design consultation at your home. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
It's 2:34, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Hey, Bill, looks like new trouble in DeKalb County, 285 and northbound. The outer loop north of I-20, exit 46, crash blocking at least one lane there. Seeing the brake lights filling in behind that. Also getting slower downtown southbound from the 85-400 merge. And the pothole repair continues. 2 right lanes blocked, 285 southbound, the outer loop at Langford Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and mild today, high 63. Not as chilly for tonight, lows in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 67. We're back in the 70s by Friday afternoon.
We are in the 60s across the metro area this afternoon. 63 in Roswell, 66 in Tucker, 67 in McDonough. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would love to have you. Now, I actually do want to go to the phones here. I want to go to Philip calling from Boca Raton, Florida. You're going to be up next. Welcome.
Thank you very much for speaking to me. Here's what I think the Republicans ought to propose. You got to split the problem into 2 pieces: universal, catastrophic, and free market, everything else. Because you split it that way, if you put out a big enough pool, catastrophic insurance goes down by the law of large numbers. And that's what everybody's really concerned about. I'm concerned about a heart attack that I can't afford, or some kind of medical transplant that I can't afford. Ordinary treatments I can manage under my budget, but the other ones I can't. So you want to split it and spread it. Spread one and leave the other for the free market to operate. Now, the advantage of that is what the definition of universal catastrophic is a political question, so the politicians can fight over it. Mm-hmm. So they got their brownie points by fighting. But otherwise, it may be a viable solution. So it takes what people's needs and leaves the other for the free market to operate.
Okay, you make a really good point that I've actually heard a number of conservative free market supporters point out, is that if everybody has a baseline for catastrophic coverage, and that is you're injured, you're diagnosed with cancer, you've got a government backup plan for you. But for your basic, I got a cold, I'm sick, I got an injury, I need to go to the hospital. People should be able to have their free market health care. You know, one of the problems, Philip, that gets to your point, I don't think people realize, is that if you're a man in the United States on Obamacare, part of your cost of Obamacare is related to you having to deal with your pregnancy that you're never going to get because you're a man, and yet you've still got to pay for pregnancy. And if you're a woman and you pay for Obamacare, part of your cost goes to your prostate coverage and potential for you getting prostate cancer that you're never going to get, and your testicular cancer for that matter. And it was the bizarre way they structured Obamacare, where men have to cover pregnancy and women have to cover prostate and testicular cancer so that they could spread out the cost to everyone. And then they piled in that you got to cover all of these additional things that you shouldn't necessarily have to cover. I'm never going to get pregnant. Why do I need to have pregnancy coverage in my health care? Well, thanks to Obamacare, I do. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, if we have a baseline for catastrophic coverage, and again, let's figure out what catastrophic coverage is, that might be something. But, the free market does lower costs. The free market improves most of what it touches. Think about education. Every single state that has school choice has better education outcomes than states that don't have school choice. That is a indisputable fact. States like Florida that have major school choice programs have high school graduates who do better than states like California that don't have a free market school choice program. And that has nothing to do, that transcends demographics. Poor Hispanics in Florida compared to California, poor blacks in Florida compared to California, poor whites in Florida compared to California, rich Hispanics, across the board. Demographically, it doesn't matter. Florida has better education outcomes because it has robust school choice. Healthcare is an issue where Republicans have got to have some answers. My company sent out a memo the other day. It is now open enrollment at my company. And you know, I actually sent a note to the head of HR and just said, I appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing to manage the situation because I know it's difficult. And we have great healthcare insurance. I worry a little bit that if our company is ever sold, we might lose the great insurance we have. And the HR gets a lot of flack for a lot of stuff, but fighting the battle on healthcare and trying to save money and balance the costs, I'm willing to pay more. We have really good healthcare coverage. My wife's chemo pill that she takes every day costs $22,000 a month. $22,000 a month. And our out-of-pocket after $2,200 for a year, we're taken care of. That's remarkable. And the negotiation rate between the insurance company and the pharmaceutical company, all that, it's way over my head. What I know, though, is that my company, because of its size, can get more accessible insurance for its employees than my radio LLC, where I only have 4 or 5 employees, where I can't give health care because I would be out of business tomorrow. I wouldn't have the money. And economies of scale matter, but I can't partner with other companies around the country to offer the economies of scale that a big company can get because of the healthcare regulations in this country. And there are certainly, now, you know, you've got the Christian Medishare plans and stuff. And I thought about doing that for my company, but when you look at the fine print on some of that stuff, it's good for individuals, not necessarily for companies. And some individuals, particularly small business owners and stuff, they do it. But there are ceilings that, I mean, in my wife's case, she and I couldn't do it because we would hit the ceiling after just a couple of years with her health. So that's not an option. There just aren't good insurance options in this country. And here's the problem I have, and this is my alarm. If Republicans don't come up with free market solutions and genuinely embrace the free market's ability to drive down costs, you're going to have a lot of people in this country who embrace socialism. Obamacare was designed not to be affordable. They called it the affordable. It's like the Democrats called the Inflation Reduction Act, and it did nothing to reduce inflation. The Democrats are calling the healthcare in this country, they're calling it the Affordable Care Act, and it was designed to not be affordable. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, was actually designed to break the healthcare system. And you're a fool if you forget that. That's the way the Democrats designed it, because their thinking, and they may be right on this, their thinking was that when it breaks, people are going to want to break from free market healthcare. And they're going to want socialism. They're going to want universal health care. They fantasize about Great Britain, and they fantasize about Scotland, they fantasize about Canada. Those are nations that are way more homogenous than us, way smaller than us. And by the way, their healthcare systems are overwhelmed and wait times are through the roof. My wife went to the doctor yesterday for her scans. Her scans were good. Her doctor wants her to see an endocrinologist. She's got an appointment for endocrinology in the next week, along with an MRI. If she were in Scotland or Canada or England, it could be months, if not a year, to wait. In Canada, they tell you, well, you can go see the endocrinologist in 2 years, or here's a coupon to pay for your assisted suicide. What do you want? We should not want socialist healthcare in this country that prioritizes the elimination of citizens to ease up the burden on the wait list. You hear all the horror stories about the VA. You hear horror stories from veterans all the time about the VA. And the Democrats' solution is to put every American in the VA. We shouldn't want that. But we got to come up with a way as a party, as an ideology to support a healthcare system that actually helps most Americans, that doesn't cause us to go bankrupt. The burden on small businesses that can't fund. I feel bad on a regular basis that I can't afford healthcare for my employees. I don't like that I can't afford healthcare for my employees. I would be willing to take the hit personally to be able to cover their healthcare, but it's still too expensive for me to do. I'll give up my dream of flying private to be able to get insurance for my employees, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to happen because of the cost with our revenue. And I know way too many small businesses who are in the same boat. There are a lot of companies that want to take care of their employees and can't because of the costs. And that's on the federal government because Obamacare drove up those costs. You're hearing about the massive surges in healthcare costs in this country. That's Obamacare causing it. And it's unfortunate. It is detrimental to our future. And it's something the GOP needs a plan to deal with. They need a plan to deal with the economy. They need a plan to get rid of tariffs. I mean, I want to go back to the president with Laura Ingraham. He said he's cutting the tariff on coffee to bring down the price. The president has said repeatedly tariffs were not to blame for high prices, and that if anything, tariffs were helping prices in this country. If that's the case, why are you cutting the tariff? If the tariffs did not contribute to high prices, why will cutting the tariff decrease the price of coffee? It makes no sense unless you acknowledge the tariffs are raising prices. And Americans routinely show they want low prices. You can say, if you will just suck it up and take the pain right now, this is essentially the message that the Republicans have had for some time. If you will just suck it up, deal with the pain, we're going to rebuild manufacturing, we're going to bring jobs back to the country, you just got to deal with the pain. Americans don't want pain. That's always been the foolish aspect of this economic plan to rebuild manufacturing in this country is Americans want cheap stuff. I want cheap stuff. You want cheap stuff. It's all well and good for you to say, well, I buy only made in America. No, you don't, because half the stuff you buy in America is made with foreign parts. I buy only American. Where is your American-made cell phone? Where is it? Where does your made in the USA cell phone exist? You just bought the cheap Android that was made in South Korea in a sweatshop because you didn't want to buy an iPhone. Americans want cheap stuff. You want cheap stuff. Tariffs have caused things to not be cheap, to repatriate manufacturing to the country in a way that has a repatriated manufacturing. Americans want cheap health care. Obamacare was designed to drive up the cost of health care. There are fixes out there. There are people who have solutions to drive down the cost of health care by deploying free market solutions. And the Republicans are scared of doing what needs to be done. I got to tell you, we got to have solutions to these problems, or the young are going to get frustrated and believe that no one has a solution except the Bernie Sanders and the AOCs of the world. And that's going to be a disaster for all of us. It's going to be disastrous for everybody if young Americans decide socialism is what works. Because socialism doesn't work. And everywhere socialism has been tried, it's failed. As George Will has famously said, every 25 years or so, Americans have to have an experiment in socialism to remind themselves why they don't like it. And I would prefer us to put off the pain as long as possible, because I don't particularly want us to have to be reminded why socialism fails, because it might be too late once the socialists get in power to ever get power back from them. We've got to rethink what's going on in this country, and we got an opportunity to do it while we control the House, the Senate, and the White House. We've got another reconciliation package we can do to get things past the Democratic filibuster, but they got to put some real thought into this. They've got to put real thought into it to get it done, because otherwise I'm afraid people are going to make some poor choices, thinking those choices help them.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's It's the Eric Erickson Show.
249 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Brand new travel advisory down by the airport. Crash 285 eastbound, the outer loop, Riverdale Road, exit 60. Looks like multiple left lanes are blocked here. Go ahead, use Forest Parkway as an alternate. We also have a crash 285 northbound, the outer loop into Cobb County between I-20 and Glenwood Road. That as well is blocking the lane, slowing the ride before Flat Shoals. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under one special deal. Get your combo tickets at AtlantaIcons.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
An end to the government shutdown is in
The
sight.
Senate continuing resolution has been passed on a vote of 60 to...
What comes next?
House now needs to be called back into session, and then they need to vote.
What does it mean to you?
Some people have not gotten their SNAP benefits, and everyone, it seems, isn't sure when all this uncertainty will end.
Listen often throughout the day for the very latest.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure to start getting the government open.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Findlay Roofing. The Roof guys are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Time to replace your roof? Please think of Findlay first. FindlayRoofing.com.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
The holidays are approaching, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping on the buy one, get one deals each week. Hey, it's Mark Aram. Yeah, there are BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. I love going in there and just following the yellow brick road of BOGOs. Save when you shop with the latest buy one, get one free items, deals on your favorites, and make sure you check out the BOGO deals before you shop. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Don't delay peace of mind. Ace Hardware Home Services makes it simple to upgrade your heating, cooling, or plumbing with financing that works for your budget. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com. Ace Hardware Home Services, bringing helpful to your home.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson. So, Sean Duffy, I really like Sean Duffy. I disagree with him on trying to block Isaacman from being the NASA director, but Duffy's a great guy. He's a Green Bay Packers fan. I mean, he and his whole family are decent people. And a reporter confronted Sean Duffy. He was at Chicago's O'Hare Airport and asked him if he flew private to that airport, and he was having none of it.
Did I fly here on a private? I wish. By the way, had I flown on a private plane, I would not have landed here at O'Hare because we have restrictions at LAX, Seattle, Denver, O'Hare, Boston, Newark, JFK, Atlanta, Dallas. You can't fly a private aircraft into those airports, the top 12. With some small exceptions to that rule, you can't fly a private aircraft. So no one's flying in here, but for those small exceptions. We've reduced private jet travel or general aviation by 10%, as well as if there are delays in the system, cancellations in the system, we've also put in restrictions that say commercial aircraft take a priority. The private jet travel would have to go to a different airport. So we are prioritizing the commercial traveler, the people who are coming through this airport. Now, I flew in on American Airlines from Wausau, Wisconsin today. I flew on Delta last night from D.C. So no, I'm a commercial flyer.
Good for him. He also hung out in the terminal at O'Hare with Philadelphia Eagles fans, though he is a Green Bay Packers fan, and the Eagles beat him in Green Bay. So he's a decent human being. I thought it was very funny, the reporter asking him if he flew private. You know he knew better than to fly private. You know he knew better than to fly private. Of course. He wasn't going to get ambushed. By the way, there was actually a report out that the White House and the FBI are both complaining about Kash Patel continually flying private instead of flying commercial. He's flying private all over the place, and there are all sorts of questions about him doing that. The White House not exactly thrilled with his performance lately, in part because he has tweeted a few things that may have tipped off potential people that the FBI was coming for him, and they got out of Dodge. So Sean Duffy's doing it right. I really like him. Rubio's such, Brooke Rollins at Ag, Scott Bessent at Treasury. He's surrounded by some great people. I just hope he listens to them. If Bessent could just privately whisper in his ear and say, hey, maybe we need to do something about the tariffs differently, that would be great. Just the problem is he's got a Democrat, Kennedy, in HHS, so we're going to get screwed up on healthcare one way or the other. Just not good. Nonetheless, Duffy is a good guy. So while this is happening, most of us are freezing. I got my heater on in my office today because it's cold here in the South. Miami had record-setting low temperatures the other day. Meanwhile, they're having a climate conference in Brazil where they're lamenting that no one cares about global warming and that we need to start censoring people who challenge the conventional wisdom on corporate. You notice how these guys on global warming, they can't win the debate. First it was global warming, then they had to call it climate change. Now they're saying, oh, we got to censor people. We got to censor people. You shouldn't have to censor people. You just can't win the debate because people aren't buying your agenda. Maybe it's time to give up and move on, but there's too much money in the climate change industry for them to give up. They're complaining about Donald Trump's misinformation and disinformation on climate change while we're all cold here. Now, let me tell you about Hillsdale College. They have some great classes you can take and improve your mind. EricForHillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, EricForHillsdale.com. You go sign up with Hillsdale College. You take one of their fantastic classes. You've got 40 to choose from. They're all incredible classes done by Hillsdale's great faculty, 30-minute videos. Depending on the class you take, depends on the number of videos, but each episode is 30 minutes long. You do it at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion when you're done. It's EricForHillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, EricForHillsdale.com. Guys, they're really incredible. The class on capitalism, we should make every member of Congress take it. The one on the American Revolution and the colonial period of the country, fantastic. C.S. Lewis, Shakespeare, they got classes on them as well. Economics, chemistry, math, you name it. Go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, EricForHillsdale.com. Surely there's a topic you're interested in. You'll improve your mind. It's education, not indoctrination. EricForHillsdale.com.
Don't be late because because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I need you to be aware. If you or a family member or friend own a timeshare, you've got a target on you for scamsters like you cannot imagine, because timeshare resale scams are absolutely in full bloom. They've been around for decades, but right now they are a hot, crazy profitable thing. To con you that there's this magical buyer out there who's going to pay you a ton for that timeshare you don't want, and you can't find anybody to even give it to. So they come along and they say, oh, yeah, we got a qualified buyer for you. We're all set. We just need this from you. We need that money wired to us, whatever. It's so profitable that the feds say a Mexican drug cartel is now running timeshare scams instead of doing drug smuggling. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio. News is sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. Our top story, Delta CEO Ed Bastian is sounding optimistic as the House prepares to vote on a bill to end the government shutdown tonight. The head of the Atlanta-based airline tells CNBC he expects a quick recovery for his airline.
Hopefully the vote occurs tonight and we get everybody back. We get people paid, most importantly. And by the weekend, I think things should be in good shape.
Bastian says Delta has seen 2,500 cancellations in the last week. If the House approves the bill to end the shutdown, it then goes to President Trump for his signature. The White House confirms the president will sign it. 66 degrees in Atlanta. Not as chilly tonight. When do we top 70 again? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. This just in. Authorities identify the 14 victims of the UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. The Jefferson County coroner read the names at a news conference today. They include the crew of Flight 2976, a man and his granddaughter, and employees of businesses that were destroyed in the crash and explosion. They range in age from 3 to 65. Mayor Craig Greenberg says they are confident there are no other victims of the crash. Residents and businesses in Cobb County may have to pay new water fees. Here's a report all new at 3 o'clock.
If approved by commissioners, the water system would levy monthly $4.95 stormwater fees beginning next June. But resident Craig Harfoot says many people can't take on another fee.
By taxing people more for stormwater, man, you're going to just knock the whole house of cards down.
Matt Yarborough with the Council for Quality Growth says they support the measure.
We think that's critical to fund what is essential infrastructure for this county.
Commissioners will take up a final vote on the proposal during their meeting on November 20th. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
A massive meth bust in Cherokee County takes dangerous drugs off the streets of metro Atlanta.